Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another episode here on the Sticks and Bones podcast. Hi, Dr. K. How are you?
I am good. We're almost done with this season. Can you believe it?
No, we were just going over some dates because plot twist, we're gonna have a little bit of an exciting sneak preview for the winter mystery boxes, which I think you guys are actually gonna lose your heads over. But I'm not gonna say anything yet. We're gonna give you a sneak peek. But I couldn't believe how many episodes we have left. We have one more after this, and then we're done. Except for Patreon. You guys will always see us.
Yeah, we have like one more, and it's like the explosive episode, dare I say. And then like the wrap up, which is kind of just like the end all, end of the
Oh yeah, so
season
we have
finale.
two. So we have two. Yeah, we're gonna do the magic episode that we've been hyping up all year. And then yeah, we have another episode after that that's just kind of like what are our New Year's resolutions? What's going on? Are we feasting? What's going on this holiday season? We're just kind of like chit chat, hang out. And then, you're not gonna see us again unless you're a Patreon member. We are descending back into the underworld, and I need to go to sleep, I think.
I
We say
just
this
want to
every
end the
year.
episode like dropping a smoke bomb and just like fizzling out. Like that's truly how I feel always around this time of the year, like
Oh
December
yeah.
especially. Um, I feel like fall went by too quick once again. I feel pressed for time and but I'm excited to, start decorating for the winter holidays and everything. But
Well, we still have time. I mean, it's
we
still,
do.
listen, November is really when fall hits, but I do have to say, there's something you and I are talking about this. This week
Mhm.
has been the weirdest week of life. Like, I don't know if anyone else felt this way, and we're recording this on Friday, October 25th. So like
Yeah,
we're
not to date ourselves.
right before Halloween. I don't know if let me know in the comments below if you had like anything weird happen to you that week because listen, my I've been trying to study astrology. Like my ass has been trying to study it to see what's going on in the stars. And I've been trying to listen to podcasts, consume content because I'm like, why is this week weird? I feel like I'm crawling out of my skin. I feel like
Yeah.
everything's going wrong. Everything in my personal life is just like going wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, hello,
The bees
help.
under my skin are rising again.
I'm like, please help. It's so funny. I just lit, if you guys can see behind me, Hermes candle because I feel like I'm miscommunicating with people. Things are happening. He's like, messenger of the gods. I'm like, please help me. Do
Please.
something.
No, it's so weird. And like, it's just like a weird time. I don't know. I feel so unprepared for like Halloween and everything. And I know I'm also in like a weird like time warp and loop because I leave Monday for my wedding.
Yeah.
And like the pre-vacation like days are just weird in general. But this is like that week in between Christmas and New Year's on like crack. Like,
It's a strange. I've never felt this way like during this time of the year.
it's
And
too early.
I'm like, what is going on with the planet? So like once I figure it out, I'll let you guys know. Like
Tell me what's out of whack because somebody ain't orbiting correct.
no, like, and it's like everything that's going wrong is, and it's not like I just want to let everyone know there's nothing bad going on in my life. It's just these
No,
little mishaps that are happening. And it's like, who do I got to call for this? Hello, I celebrate Depnon. You guys think I'm kidding. I just left an offering to the gods before this episode because I'm like, can somebody please help me? Like, what's going on?
can you just point me in the direction of which planet is, out of whack?
No, I'm
Hello?
not kidding.
Could I have a
Dr.
hint?
K saw me before we were doing the podcast. I'm lighting all my candles, my incense. I'm leaving offerings. I'm like, please. I know this is not anyone's fault here. It's not my fault either, but like, can someone at least give me a sign, like a little shout out? Hey, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, it's wild. I feel like we're trying to like play like pin the tail on the donkey, like blindfolded. We were spun around 50 times and
Yeah.
just pushed out into the ether, being like, there you go.
Yeah, so if anyone's having a weird week, even if you're not watching it Friday, October 25th, that week, and you're having a weird week, and maybe you found us 2 years from now here on YouTube and Spotify, just know we had this weird week on Friday, October 24th, 2024. I don't know what's going on, but if
Yeah.
let us know. Let us know in the comments. Does anyone else feel this way? But
Yeah. When this comes out in November, you let us know. Was your end of October weird?
yeah, please let me know. Like, so I like need validation that it's not just me, like I'm like always like, is it just Is it just me? What's going on? It's so funny because we're doing an episode about the Greek magical papyri today, and I actually found a few spells in here that I was like, well, let me conjure up this shit. Like, I need
Yeah.
this.
Man, girls got to get some shit done.
I know, I know. But okay. Anyway, enough about what's going on in our lives. We have so much to talk about today. We have an exciting episode. Yes, you guessed it. We're talking about the Greek magical papyri, and we're going to be ranking some famous, not famous, crazy love spells that include some of the famous goddesses that you might know in ancient Greek religion, combined with other divine beings. You heard that here, right? You heard
I
that.
mean, I is the Greek magical papyri famous or infamous? I mean,
I think, unfortunately, fortunately, it's famous today. And if you've been at Sticks and Bones for a while, you know how me and Dr. K feel about the Greek Magical Papyri when people recommend it as like a great source for ancient Greek religion. We're always like,
hello.
children, gather around the fire. There is this spell today we're talking about with Hekate that also calls upon the Jewish God in the same sentence. So, like, let's talk about that later. It's crazy. That's
We
not
will
ancient
touch
Greek
upon it.
religion.
No, it's absolutely crazy, and we will like be mentioning it. We'll be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, but there will be a magic class lecture coming out later at the end of these last few months from me where I am tackling it, and I'm just going to screech into the microphone because, man, the Greek magical papyri has just swept the nation by storm.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If I wouldn't buy it. It's expensive. I bought mine used. It's not, if you're, I'm gonna say this right off the bat, and I'm not, not saying anything else because Dr. K is gonna have a great class one day talking about this. It's not what you need, trust me. Half the spells are half written. The one I'm going to be discussing today, they're a whole piece is missing from it. So like the person is like, beware if you do the spell. Like I don't even know if this is
Oh,
correct.
it was what was the word? I read the footnote. It was like it's
Yeah.
corrupted, and I
It's
was like,
corrupt.
oh.
Yeah, so I'm like, I'm not calling on this side of Hecate if the spell is corrupt. Have a great day. Like,
What does that mean?
I don't need a corrupt spell. That's like playing with fire. Holy crap. Like, after the week I had, I looked at that. I'm like, this is interesting. And then I saw that spell is corrupt. Fire
Lamps book
beware.
closed.
I'm good. So, anyway, we have a lot of exciting updates per usual. The girls. We never stop here at the Sticks and Bones podcast, Sticks and Bones Temple. But speaking of the temple,
Oh God.
you've asked. We heard you. I don't know why it took us so long to get stickers. We had to update our logo, okay?
85 times.
85 times, but this is our logo. We have, if you see me on camera, on Spotify, and on YouTube, we now have Sticks and Bones podcast stickers. They are $10. They are available in the store, and you can have beautiful artwork of Felsie and Fen, because we always say like it's our cartoon selves. On the logo, put it on your laptop. If you see someone with this logo, you better go up and say hi to them and be like, oh my God, they're part of the mystery cult too. Hell yeah, they know what's up. Only cool people have this.
Get your binoculars out and look for sticks and bones in the wild.
That's right. When I see people with like podcast stickers of podcasts I've listened to or I'm like fans of certain people, I will be like, "Oh my God, they're cool. Oh my God, that person knows what's up." But anyway, this is like our secret signal of it's not really secret because there's our name on it, but is there a secret bat signal? If you see someone in public with a sticker, you have to say, "Hey, Colte." And that
Cult,
person will
that's the
know.
secret word. Like the cult of Dionysus, how they would like
Yeah.
understand one another. That's the secret word. Like if you know,
You,
you know.
you have to say Hecate. And if you're new here, Hecate is Hecate. We believe she's forming a modern day cult for some reason. She's so heavily worshipped. So you can follow us on Patreon, join our Patreon, whatever. We talk more about Hecate and like that's what we call her now. So that's the secret word, Hecate.
We have like 85,000 episodes on her here from ancient history.
It's
We have a
not
whole
enough, apparently. It's not
we have a whole course where we literally trace her from Anatolia to like classical Greece. And truly, what more could we give?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I even have a video on YouTube that's like how to connect to Hecate, like how to worship her. Like I give some tips. So like there's nothing more I can say. So anyway, Hecate live on forever. Okay. Anyway, today in the temple, we're also launching small little update today. We have the Acheron candle back in stock, and then the Acheron oil, which is for the veneration of the underworld gods. So if you're interested, that is out today. Very excited. Love the Acheron candle. It's very nice. And you can use that to also venerate any of the underworld gods, specifically like Hades and Persephone. It's really nice for them. So that is what we have coming out. But yeah, the exciting update will wait. What do we have going on Patreon? What's going on in the Patreon world? Because I think November is, speaking of like the Acheron and Hades and Persephone, we kind of have an interesting month.
We got a great lineup. It's almost like the dream team, the fantasy edition of Patreon. So for the Acheron, the shores of Acheron and up, of course, for everybody's extra podcast this month, Chelsea and I are diving into the underworld. How do you get in? I mean, we have to die. So unfortunately, we're all going to die in November because we have to trek into the underworld together. We are going to explore it as the ancients believed they understood it as. We're going to be going through the different realms. We're going to get judged together. Who's going to end up in Tartarus? We're going to see it all. So we're super excited to be talking about that. I love doing this like to my students and everything. So can't wait to talk about all the realms with everybody and kind of really show you guys what the afterlife was like for the ancient Greco-Romans back in the day. It's such a fun time. From Asphodel Meadows and up, we are doing book club. Remember, Ithaca this month. We are starting the Song of Penelope series. And if you have been with book club for quite a while, especially for October, you guys saw the plot twist of the century in Medusa's Sisters. I'm still not over that plot twist, and I will often bring it up to Chelsea when we're working.
No, I'm serious. If there's any books that, if you're like, I'm thinking about joining book club, we recommend obviously Song of Achilles. We did that first. Medusa's Sisters is my close second out of the books that we've read so far. We've done Song of Achilles, Circe, Medusa's Sisters, and now we're on Ithaca. Medusa's Sisters was wild and crazy, and the second half of the book is a crazy ride. And we just well, today actually, no, not today. The week prior, we would have posted part 2. So
yes,
that is coming out.
That was a nonstop adventure, and I'm so excited to see what everybody's comments are in book club about. Like, did you see that plot twist coming? Because Chelsea and I did not.
Yeah. Also just a little warning about Medusa's Sisters, big heavy emphasis on essay. So anyway, but it was an amazing book, loved it. Some things I didn't like about it, but you'll have to join book club to figure it out. Anyway, I'm excited for Ithaca. I've been obsessed with Penelope and Odysseus for a while, so
you're gonna have to join to see how many laurel crowns we gave Medusa's sisters. So for the month of November, Ithaca, we are doing chapters 1 through 25. And December, we will be finishing up this book. So come join us in book club. And last but certainly not least, drum roll, please, for the Elysian Fields. We have early holiday mystery boxes for you guys. You guys are getting first access to these mystery boxes once again before they go to the general population. And what better way to celebrate these holiday mystery boxes than with a little tease of what they are going to incorporate? So we really wanted to play on the end of the year celebrations, two sides of the same coin. So these boxes, one is inspired by the feasting of the gods, really like we've talked about this, especially in book club and everything. So we're trying to like encapsulate this in one aspect. And the other of the same coin is, everything has to come to an end eventually, right? Memento mori. So one side's very reminiscent of Mount Olympus, and the other is very reminiscent of the underworld. So two different boxes, two different aspects. We're so excited for you guys to see everything that's included in this.
Yeah, it's going to be really awesome. And we were like, how can we honor both the Olympians and also like the underworld gods? Because remember, the realms are like extremely different. And there's also, something else that'll be coming. We have another candle that'll be coming with the box that we're not going to talk about. Just follow us for updates. We have other things going on with this box, but we're just giving you the sneak peek, the sneak preview. And so we were like, how can we encapsulate both realms, right? Because they're both really different. Like, obviously, we know Hades does not have any sort of feasts, really, except that one time when someone tried to kidnap Persephone. If you ever get invited to a feast in Hades, maybe you should run. We should run the other way. So we were like, how can we encapsulate both? And both of these boxes can be used to honor, like, the celebration season's really hard, especially around Christmas time. And I feel like as those of us in ancient Greek religion, we want to celebrate this time of year. And we're like, how do we? So this is like really what we wanted to do because it's a big holiday season, especially in Christianity, Catholicism, and it's like, how too can we have our own holiday?
Or like what is inspired by the ancient
Yeah.
festivities, because it really like is drinking and the partying and the music and like just the gathering. And I think no matter what religion you practice or are a part of or even inspired by, it's really the connections that you have in the gatherings and the
Mhm.
celebration. So that's what we're really trying to like gather here.
Oh yeah, and then this time around, because remember we only do mystery boxes 4 times a year, right? That's it's only 4 times a year. You would
The big
think
four.
because we just ended one. How are we in another? Well, because we go by solstice equinox. But we are intuitively picking these ones for you. So you either will get the Olympian side of the box, which is the Feast of the Gods, or the Memento Mori, which is more geared towards like the underworld. And there's something that can be learned in each. So if you buy a mystery box, we're gonna be picking it for you. For
Hoo-hoo.
you. We're gonna be like, you know what? I think you need this. So, anyway, this is launching on the top tier on Patreon. You guys will have first dibs. We include, you guys kind of get like the best of the best stuff. Like we have
Yeah.
some things that run out like towards the end when people are buying mystery boxes. We don't restock certain things that
Yeah.
we add as extras. So, the Elysian tier, this is launching for you on the 22nd of November. Don't worry, we'll keep you updated as we go throughout November. Don't like panic, but
Yeah.
just keep it on your calendar. And then for everybody else, it'll be open to the general public on the 25th. And we'll be having really limited stock this time around because it is also holiday season for us. So
Yeah, we got to pack our stuff up and descend back into the underworld for our rest and relaxation for the end of the year.
these boxes are going to be a little bit more limited compared to like, the amount that we've done previously for like Halloween because we love doing them. They're a lot of work. We love them. But yeah, we decided we're going to just
Yeah.
gonna be a little bit more exclusive. So make sure you got them when they come out and follow us on Sticks and Bones Temple and the podcast to keep up with updates. And I think that's really it. That's really it for the. You have anything else you want to update the people on?
I don't think so. I think that's kind of it right now. I think we got to just kind of rank these different spells and give the
Okay.
people what they want.
All right. So in today's episode, we were like, we want to do something crazy and fun because we are rounding out the end of the year, and we were like, what's more fun than ranking crazy spells in the Greek Magical Papyri? And especially because, we've talked about the Greek Magical Papyri in the beginning of how like people are so obsessed with it. And listen, I too understand what's going on, but I think you guys will understand what we're saying when we rank some of these spells today of like, buyer beware, spell is corrupt, or do you need like a professional to perform this for you? Because what is going on? And we're focusing on the aspect of love and attraction today. So they're going to get down and crazy with like binding people and attracting them to one another. So I'm excited. Before we start though, there are two Greek goddesses. I want you guys to think a little bit. And if you've been paying attention here on Sticks and Bones, one of them might be really obvious. I might have gave something away. There are two Greek goddesses that are in two different spells that we have. And I want to
Yeah.
know if you guys can guess it and put it in the comments below and like let us know if you were right as you're watching the episode. I want to know if you guessed the two goddesses before we start. Because if you've been listening to us, you should know. They make sense.
Yeah. This is your bi-weekly quiz here on
That's
Sticks and
right. We're
Bones.
quizzing you here at Six and Bones, and if you fail, you're going to
I
Tartarus.
was just gonna say Tartarus.
The Tartarus away. I'm just kidding. Um, okay, so
All right, are we starting with the first one?
yeah, I hope everyone locked in their answer. Locked in their answer because the first goddess is obviously the most obvious one if we're talking about love. It's
That's
Aphrodite.
right. It's Aphrodite. So this one is in fact a love spell for attraction.
Mhm.
And this is for the offering to the star of Aphrodite. So this is a very, very long spell. So I'm just going to kind of give like the ingredients list of the first part. So offering to the star of Aphrodite, a white dove's blood and fat, untreated myrrh, and parched wormwood. Make this up together as pills and offer them to the star on pieces of vine or wood or on coals. And also have the brains of a vulture for the compulsion so that you may make the offering. And also have a protective charm, a tooth from the upper right jawbone of a female ass or of a tawny sacrificial heifer tied to your left arm with a Nubian thread.
Man, let me tell you.
Shall we dive in?
That is a long ingredient list of things I don't have and where
Oh,
to go and get them.
you're not gonna find that at the Acme.
This is like, I know we say this, but like true magic, when you're practicing true magic, even I'm going to say it from folk magic too, there are sometimes specific times of day and specific things that you need. And this is one of these instances. This person is like, no, no, no. I am getting this absolutely correct. I'm hitting my target.
Yeah.
I'm giving all the things that need to happen here.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think that you can just go up to the meat counter and ask the butcher for vulture brains. I don't know when those are in season. Like I where are you getting this?
I don't know. I mean, maybe it's easier in the ancient world. Like
Maybe,
I
but
don't know.
what's interesting here, and there's like part two and part three of this spell that I'm not going to go into, but they talk about compulsion in like this ingredient list of like getting ready and like prepping your station, basically, right? So you need to like do this like compulsion act and part of the spell,
Yeah, I'm
but
reading
at the
it and I'm
same
like,
time, you also need a protective amulet. Like, I'm sorry, am I too going to get shot?
so it's kind of like they're threatening Aphrodite in the compulsion aspect of like
So,
if you act slow, and I know we're not reading the whole thing.
mhm.
So I'm just gonna read these first two lines. But if as a goddess you in slowness act, you will not see Adonis rise from Hades. And if you know who Adonis is, it's like Aphrodite's mortal lover who died.
So I literally highlighted that and I was like, this compulsion, well, the first one is really drawing on her grief that she has for her mortal lover, Adonis. And then in the secondary aspect, the user is basically putting like her grief and her love for Adonis on the same level as this individual. It is spoken as if it's from a man to a woman, to a female lover. And it's like this male caster is basically like, yeah, so I'm basically like suffering like you because this woman won't love me. So like you should make her love me and everything. And you're just like, it just keeps going.
I wonder if I mean like yeah, this person seems like this is like borderline weird obsession with somebody where you'd go this far to actually do something like this. And also in the second compulsion where they're kind of like if you act in slowness Aphrodite, I'm gonna bind Adonis from Hades, whatever. Who do you think you are, sir? This is the Greek goddess Aphrodite. Like you're not gonna threaten her. You know what I mean? So like that's what I'm really okay. The spell is cool, but I'm like taking away the compulsion part, and I'm like, this is just like I don't know. Magic in the ancient world is very different, very interesting, and let me tell you something. I'm out. I'm
No, but
good.
it's very interesting. And I know like we've touched on this like so many times, but like this is not like the fluffy, frilly puppy
Yeah,
dog love. Like this is the dark side of love, and
yeah,
it seems like it's almost that like obsession, and like you're really doing the most to get it, because that's ultimately what magic is you taking it from someone else.
yeah. I mean, that's what magic is, and we have to be okay with that. And it goes against like especially in ancient Greek religion, like the will of the gods, and so it's kind of like really frowned upon. But
But it's
listen, I
crazy that you need protection.
yeah. You know what's interesting? Sometimes in a lot more like intricate, really like darker kind of spells, you do need protection. And it's just yeah, this love spell for attraction is just it's like almost like an obsession spell. Um
I would
attraction's not even the word anymore. It's like I
It's the
want
darker
someone
side of attraction.
yeah, yeah. And very, very interesting. Gives me the heebie-jeebies, but also like this is something that somebody did, and I wonder if it actually works. I wish there was like a follow-up of like spell
I
work.
wish we had like receipts or like personal notes of like, like for this one John Doe back in the day, like this did work and they experienced this. Like, I wish we kind of had like doctor's notes, like a little bit of like,
Yeah, yeah. Like I guess they didn't really keep good, and maybe we do have it and it's just gone. They don't keep
they
like
could.
grimoires of like let me get a follow-up. Like you think they'd put like, when I do like workings or magic, I keep a book and a log of like this is what I'm experiencing. Did it work, right? Because that's what
Mhm.
good That's what people who practice magic, that's what you do, right? You're supposed to keep track of it.
Yeah.
And so it's very interesting that we don't have that.
No, but do you think that you would need to be professional to follow these instructions? Like, if you wanted to do this love spell for attraction back in the ancient day and time, would you need to be a professional?
Yeah, and I'm gonna say yes because you need it's not just like a love spell, there's also a protective charm on top of it. And so I'm also the kind of person that believes like everybody can practice magic, but it doesn't mean you're always going to be good at it, right? I think there are just some people that it's their job and that's what they're meant to do. And I think this is one of these things that you'd probably need to go to like a sorceress or a sorcerer in the ancient world. Um, Also because
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of reading, right? A lot of ancient peoples couldn't read. So this is the hymns and everything. Like it's very specific, calling upon very specific aspects of Aphrodite. Um, you would need to know like something here.
Yeah, I also was like, you definitely either need to be professional or seek professional help, if that makes sense. Like, you need to hire somebody if you are not trained in this, because not only like the magic aspect, but the knowledge behind it from
Right.
both compulsion aspects, you need to know the mythology of where Aphrodite was born, because we have a lot of different epithets of her coming from Cyprus. You have to know about Adonis. You
Mhm.
have to know about the cultic worship and the cult of Adonis, not in Greece. You actually have to know about the cult of Adonis in Egypt.
Yeah,
So,
there's a
like,
lot of different, and there's also a lot of different names that are being used. So you need to know like what you're calling upon, who you're calling upon. It's like another side of Aphrodite. And yeah, this is definitely done by a professional, I would think that has access to this kind of knowledge that's probably also very secretive. Like,
well, that's the whole thing with like the spells in the Greek Magical Papyri is it is the secret words and knowledge. And we mentioned this really explicitly in the Cult of Isis episode of the real names of these divinities is where the power actually is. It's
mhm.
not what they rule over, it's not anything like that. It is inherently in their secret name. But what's also interesting comparatively to the other spells that we're looking at, this one's very cause and effect, because it's like, okay, here's the ingredients, here's the compulsion stuff. And then at the end, it says, if you see the star shining steadily, it is a sign that she has been smitten. And if it is lengthened like the flame of a lamp, she has already come. So it's very like, if you do X, then Y will happen. Or if you see X, then this is
Mhm.
what's going on. So I don't know. I feel like that's a very easy thing to follow for people of like, if I hired you 2,500 years ago and I look up and I see that star, I'd be like, by God, it worked.
Yeah, right. Well, that is the power of someone that knows how to do magic. Like how are you going to do magic for somebody? And I'm like thinking of myself and not give them like things that are going to happen or signs to look out for of like, hey, I've done this before. So let me tell you, this is what to look out for. This is how you know it worked. The divination said it worked, right? Like, whatever kind of divination you're doing. So this is why I believe this was done by a professional. Like, I know that
Yeah.
wasn't the question, but I do believe someone professional that has experience with this type of magic has done this
Yeah.
before because they knew what to look for.
There's also two aspects. It's not like, oh, well, if you see this, then it's a good sign. It's like, no, if you see this star, then it's working.
It's
But if
worked.
the star is like the length of a flame, then the woman who you're after, she's already coming to you. So, like, you're getting not only like it's working, but like, here's the next thing happening. So, it's very
100%.
involved.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Very.
I know in book club, we usually rate it out of like 5 laurel crowns. So since we're doing love spells, how many hearts would you give this? With 5 being like, this is an exquisite love spell.
I'm giving 5. I think that's an exquisite love spell. And I'm saying that probably with a little bias because I've looked at other love spells in the Greek Magical Papyri this morning when we were looking at some. I
Yes.
think this is one of the most intricate that has so many steps, very detailed. There are signs, there's protection. Not many people know when you do working, sometimes you need
Yeah.
protection. This was done, in my opinion, by a professional in the ancient world, and they've had luck doing it. They've executed this because they know the signs of what's happening. That's
Yeah.
mine. What about you?
I would also say 5 hearts, 5 plus, like golden hearts, truly, if you will. Because like the next one that we're talking about, I've seen very similar ones to the second one that we're talking about. But this one, it's very different because it's not so much like what you're causing the person. This one is like explicitly like you are banging on the door of Aphrodite and you're saying, step outside. I've got an offer for you that you cannot resist, and you're going to want to work for me. And here's why. Like
Right.
the
And
balls.
now, am I gonna do this love spell? No.
No.
No, I'm not. My ass is not trying to get lit up by Aphrodite herself. But yeah, I do think it's good. It's very in depth. I'm not saying all magic has to be super in depth, but
No.
that had like a hymn of compulsion. It had names. It was given names, naming names,
And pointing fingers, pointing
and vulture
wands.
brains. You know what I'm saying? Like that was crazy.
That that
That's
that
magic.
is an ancient spell.
That's
Like
magic, my friends. Like, truly, I think sometimes we get so far away from the concept of what magic is. And when you're trying to do a love working, let me tell you something. It's not as simple as just writing someone's name on a candle. Like you have to name names and that a lot of times you got to know, we were just discussing this morning, family lineage. You got to know where people are coming from using names of that. So very
this one,
specific.
I would call this one, as you just said, name names and vulture brains.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna butcher 98% of this, so I just want everyone to just bear with me because the names in here I cannot pronounce.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All
So,
right.
were those all the questions we had for that one? Yeah, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, do we think it works? Yeah, I obviously this person knows it worked. They knew what to look for, so it worked.
Yeah, like this ain't the first rodeo.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, ooh, this next one.
So let me tell you a funny story about this one before we start.
Open up my notes.
I was like, okay, I'm gonna open up the Greek Magical Papyri and I'm gonna look for a love spell. This was the first page I opened up to. Out of all the spells here, this was the one I opened up to, and obviously it has our good friend and goddess of the podcast, Hecate, friend of the pod,
Goddess of the pod.
friend of the pod, Hecate, aka Hecate. So, if you had guessed Aphrodite and Hecate in the beginning, you are correct because it's a lot of you might be, what do you mean Hecate is in this love spell of attraction? I implore you to go back to our curse tablet episodes here on Sticks and Bones, or take our Hecate course because we do slightly mention how she is
Mm-hmm.
found on curse tablets that are associated with love. And you're probably like, what? What are the girls saying? Well,
Yeah.
we've done episodes on this. So
Yeah.
I was like, okay, so this is the one we're talking about today. This is a love spell of attraction. And so it says,
Yes.
can't wait to get to the end. On an unbaked piece of pottery, write with a bronze stylus, Hecate, you, Hecate, triple formed, since every seal of every has been completed, which is the love spell of attraction. I adjure you by the great names of, I'm just going to skip it, and by the power of Agramari, because I adjure you, you who possess the fire and those in it, that she, whoever the person's name is, be set afire, that she come in pursuit of me, because I am holding in my right hand the two serpents and the victory, that she love me completely and be a flame on fire for me, I, and tortured too. And then there are some Greek characters here that you have to write and use, but it says on the footnote, the text of the spell appears to be corrupt at a number of places, so that by necessity the translation remains tentative. So it's an unclear translation, and things are obviously missing.
That, and we also have another footnote that talks about the Vocus Magicae, where the secret names could be abbreviated differently, and the person who's writing this needs to know that.
Right. So I was reading this, and it's always interesting because the two love spells of attraction that we've seen so far have been from men.
Yes.
And I'm like, what's going on with men in the ancient world? Oh my God. Guys, get a
Yeah.
grip over there.
We I'm trying to think, like, in the files of my head, um like, that's not to say like we don't have love spells from women, like from their point of view, but it's mainly to like save a relationship or to break one up because like they're the other woman. But
Right.
or like and there is some cases like where we do have love curses or love spells
We talked
for
about one where there was a
yeah.
triangle like love affair or something from a
Yeah,
woman.
we also have love spells for like same-sex couples.
Yeah,
Um
yeah.
but more often than not, we see a lot more of like it coming from like a male speaker or a male author to a female individual, which is so interesting of like, are you guys okay?
Yeah, what the hell? So what do we think of this? I mean, this is an unbaked piece of pottery, which let me tell you something. If you shop here at Six and Bones Temple, don't underestimate the power of a piece of pottery.
That terracotta slaps.
I put that shit in everything. So that when I was reading that, I was like, okay, makes sense. But
Uh-huh.
what do you think of the tools that are included
All
so
right.
far?
So what I pointed out instantly was you're calling on Hecate triformis because that's triple
Mhm.
formed. So very interesting. And then there's a footnote about one specific name of Onir who is supposed to be Oniris, who is a war god of Egypt, specifically from the site of Abydos. So we
Jesus.
we've got triple Hecate, we've got a war god from Egypt, and then we get the Jewish god Adonai. So
I mean,
feel
I'm
free
good on.
walk into a bar.
Yeah, it's very interesting and also terrifying at the same time that we're calling upon a war god, the triple form of Hecate,
And
and
then
then
Adonai, like,
right.
which I did want to put in here, like Adonai in Hebrew, it like goes to turn into the name of God as well, but it can also mean Lord or Master depending on the translation and how it's being used.
This is just very interesting because it's like there's not a lot of we're obviously missing some things from the spell here, but there's not a lot of like you don't need the brains of a vulture. It's just pottery. It's you have to, you know what, with
Yeah.
this one, you have to know who you're talking to and who you're what are you asking for? When you come to Sticks and Bones, we talk about this with epithets. If you listen to the ancient Greek episodes, who are you asking help from? Because it's not just Hecate, right? There's which Hecate? Like, there's
There's a
Hecate
lot.
Propolis, which Persephone, like different epithets to these gods. And some of them, like you said, are secretive. You have to have secret knowledge the way that they're written down. So this seems to me like it's not so much in the tools that are being used, but it's more or less the knowledge of the
Yes.
individuals you are asking or calling upon. Um,
Yes.
which
And
pottery.
I would also say, like, also in the secret names, there's also other later Egyptian gods who are known as the supreme ones. So you would not only need, Abrahamic knowledge, you would need ancient Egyptian knowledge, you would need ancient Greek knowledge. Like, there's so many different layers here. And then, like, how they're really doing this, like you said, is basically like on a piece of clay, but they're calling upon the other individual, the Jane Doe, basically to basically burn with fire, which we see a lot in love spells, and it's not like you're cursing the person to like light on fire.
No, you want them to feel like that.
It's kind of like the side effects of love is what I tell my students, because like when you have a crush and you're like talking to your crush, and I really try and like make it like a lot nicer instead of like how dark love spells can be. But like when you're talking to a crush or you have a crush, like your face gets warm, like you blush, like your heart rate races, like you feel warm inside. But like the ancients took that to Jedi level because it's not all fun and rainbows and puppy dog kisses. It's a lot darker.
No, and I'm sure it's a little bit more lustful, you know what I mean? Like I took this as like I want someone to just like I want them to be on fire for me and not think about anybody else and only think of me and lust after me. Like that's the ancient sense. Sorry. Like I want them to like be obsessed with fire and passion just for me. But like,
This is the ancient choose me, pick me. Like,
yes, love me.
yes, it
Yeah.
is that. But it's like you are driving them almost mad with like the obsession of, oh my God, I can't stop thinking about them. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with them. So that they will come to you. You're almost kind of like smoking them out so
Mhm.
that they have to come to you. because they can't stop all of these effects of obsession, love, lustfulness, potentially like horniness. Like you're trying to get them every way possible.
Oh yeah, you want them to just be yours and entirely yours and be obsessed with you forever. So like that's definitely what I'm getting from this. Do we think that a professional did this one, or do you think any Joe Schmo off the street was like Hecate Triformis and all of these other divinities? Grant me.
No, this one, you might not need much, but this person knows what they're doing. They're locking and loading it and they're not missing.
100%. I thought the same thing. Originally, when I first read the first sentence, I was like, okay, I feel like this is done by like, But then I
Animators.
started reading more and I was like, wait a minute
Oh,
now. Here, there
what?
there are some names. They are naming names in this one. And so that's how I feel like I really can tell where it's like they know all of like this weird knowledge of like different gods and everything.
That, and then the characters that you would have to write after while you're basically petitioning the Abrahamic God, like that is unmatched. Like
So like,
we're not seeing that. That's no vulture brain.
yeah, there's no vulture brain here. And what do we think? Do we think it worked? Do you think this worked?
I don't know because this doesn't have like like a cause and effect. Like it's a good formula and like treatment, I would say, but like I don't know if it worked. It very well could, but I think it might be a little less successful than the first one that we did.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate because I'm kind of like half and half. I'm gonna say I think it did work. I don't know if it worked. I can't tell by this one paragraph, but I feel like when we feel like a professional did this, I feel like it must have worked somewhere, right? Like for this to be, I mean, listen, people try things all the time and it doesn't work, like especially in the sphere of magic and spell workings. But I'm gonna
Correct.
say I think this works. Unfortunately, like the note says this text is corrupt. So, but I do think they're using certain names and certain symbols and like writing things. So I'm like, I think it does work. How
Yeah.
the success rate is, I don't know.
Yeah. I think
It
it's
could go
up
either
there.
way.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it worked. I'd be like, yeah, that tracks.
Right. And then what is your heart rating on this one? What do you give this one?
I'm going 5 star, 5 hearts. I'm going 5 hearts on this one
Interesting. Okay. Why are you
because
giving it five?
it's not the ingredients. I think it's showing the other side of magic. It's not just like goobles and gobbles and like an eye of toad and everything. It is all that sometimes, but also it can be a piece of unbaked clay and knowledge. It's showing you that, yeah, tools are important to magic, but also you need that knowledge in magic. And I think that is something that often goes overlooked.
Oh, all the time. I mean, um, I do magic for clients and things like that. And by the way, shameless plug, if you guys are interested, I do magic. We also have a sorceress working in the temple where like we do things. I do things on the Ghost Whisperer. But it surprises me sometimes. I get a lot of people that have done magic and then like things happen and it goes wrong and they come to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh." And I'm like,
Mhm.
a lot of people don't always have the background information and the knowledge about certain things with magic because
Yeah.
you literally have to experiment. And like that's why I'm like this spell could have been like all these spells are experimentation. Like every single one of
Mhm.
these someone had to do, and did it work or not? Like obviously the last one we talked about, there was a sign of like I've done this before, so look for this. Or
Yeah.
like it's really like being a scientist, almost like a magical scientist, and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't, and combining certain gods and divinities in certain ways. And like, is this working? Am I petitioning the right way? Am I using the right epithet? So
100%.
knowledge is so important in magic, and we'll talk about it in our magic episode. I'm giving this one, I think, four,
Mm.
only because I don't feel comfortable giving it five because I don't have like it's a corrupt text. So like it's did they translate this right? Like there's some things missing here.
Mhm.
Um I wish we knew, like in the last one, which was done so perfectly.
Yeah.
How do we know it works? Like, you know,
Yeah,
um,
in terms of the corruptness, I had to just be like from how it's preserved,
yeah.
it's like first it's fire that it is preserved, from
Yeah,
this
no, happy to
far
be
back.
here, happy to have it.
um But yeah, I think in this one, for some reason, I'm like, yeah, the knowledge just no Joe Schmo would have this. Like, that's
No,
unmatched. But I think
100%.
I think when we get to this next one, our last one, I think it's a different tune.
Well, it is. And if you've been listening to us for a while, we did that whole episode on like the demons and curse tablets where we looked at an actual curse tablet and we looked at, I believe, two, right? And one
We did an ancient and then the medieval one that mentioned like
and one
Satan
was
and
like
Beelzebub.
an amateur. Like we had agreed that the second one was like done so poorly because we are people that look at these and study and have knowledge about this, and we're like, okay, I can tell this was not done by anyone of a profession in magic because it was just so like thrown together because they don't know how to write things out or like the specific name. So I think we had deemed the medieval one was like
I think it was like not professional with an asterisk of like it because it's hard and that's why we put the asterisk because it could have been somebody who was Catholic and then you have like the
yeah.
aspect of like Catholic mysticism because we have like demons mentioned like Beelzebub, Berith, Satan. So it's kind of like a modern curse, but it's very different. So yeah, we were like anybody who knew their stuff could do it. And I mean, during the medieval period, I mean, literacy was higher than the ancient times. So, but it also didn't make sense, like
No,
how it
no.
was written.
No. All right, we're at the
The
last one.
last one.
Which this one we've actually found first this morning, and it was a good one.
Yeah. Do you want me to read or you want to read?
Um, you can read it if you want.
So, this is a spell for a good potion, is the name of it. So, you would take a piece of hieratic papyrus and write on it. And you would write this sentence. I'm not going to give it to you because y'all don't need to know the secret knowledge. Let her, Jane Doe, you'd insert the name there, whom so and so bore, love me, John Doe, and when she has drunk the drink.
And that's
And
it.
that's it.
And
Scene.
so when you were posing this one as one to do on the podcast this morning, I immediately read it and I had many of questions.
Oh, yes. Yes, it was good for discussion.
You wouldn't think after that one sentence or two sentences or however many sentences, three sentences, sorry. No, two sentences. You,
Two. One's a
yeah,
run
two.
on.
Right, which is fine. Listen, magic can be powerful if you have the right tools and it's ancient. It's been going on for a long time. Two sentences could be enough, but I had questions. And so basically, with this spell, they're basically just taking a piece of papyrus and writing this like really long thing on it to activate a spell. And then giving someone specific name and then saying when basically when she drinks this drink, she's going to fall in love with this person. And after the two love spells that we had just done and gone over, I have questions about this one because I'm like, are
Yeah.
you putting this papyrus around the drink that you're giving her that you wrote this spell on? Are you just, it's kind of like not succinct. It's like this person is writing something down on a piece of paper, just pouring a drink and giving it to somebody. But like, how does the paper work with the drink? And what kind of drink? Are you putting anything in the drink?
Is there a drink?
Yeah,
Like,
like it has
so
to be.
the first thing that stuck out to me was the hieratic papyrus. And are you getting a piece of papyrus that's already written with hieratic on it? Because hieratic is a style of writing. It's basically like cursive hieroglyphics.
I
So
mean,
like
that's what it says. So yeah.
so then if you're getting a piece of paper that's already written on, does it matter what's already written on it?
I don't know. I have many questions. Like I said, the drink thing was really tripping me up because I'm like, are you charging the drink with this papyrus and the spell you've written on top of it? Usually when you're doing like love magic with like drinks or potions, you have to put things in there, right? Like, and then you give it to somebody and then like, listen, there's some things you do in folk practice. You put in someone's drink and you give it to them on Sunday on a full moon.
Yeah. And like this one is okay, the secret word's great. So then you would then be writing after all that secret words on top of other writing, let her, Jane Doe, I'm going to say, whom Jane Doe senior bore, love me, John Doe, when she has drunk the drink. So there is no drink. You're basically just writing this on a piece of paper. Then what do you do with the paper? Do you burn it? Do you bury it?
Yeah, but it says a good potion.
Yeah. But where's the drink?
Right. Like usually there's some things you would like mix together or like most commonly, especially in the ancient world, is wine is used to conceal a lot of magic. And so
There's a
yeah,
lot of
I just was confused by that. I'm like and we're not missing anything. So I don't jury's out on this one for me. I am very unsure. And like I said, as someone who practices magic, I don't know how this works. Like you just write something on a piece of paper and then someone drinks something and they're in love with you after the other spells we just looked at, you know?
after all of that stuff that people had to get.
Yeah, all
Like
the names.
like, yeah, okay. Like the only thing here is you're naming lineage, which okay, great. But like you don't even need to like attach like hair or nails or draw a picture. Like you're just like naming people's names and your own name. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think a professional needed to do this?
No. I think someone this is like my theory if I had to be in like this person choose for a day. I think someone like obviously knew this kind of magic was going on in the ancient world and I think they wanted to be a part of it, but maybe they didn't have like enough money to hire a professional and they were like, "Well, how hard is it?" Grabs this papyrus with things already written on it and like writing things down and being like, "Great." That's my
Yeah,
exact theory. What about you?
or it was like a quote unquote professional. Because remember, back in the day, there was like the whole spectrum of professionals. Like
Right.
you have the people who were claiming to see the future, like knocking on people's
We
doors
have that in modern day too, you know.
and being like, the sky's falling tomorrow. It's like, all right, simmer down, Chicken Little. But like then you've got like the Pythia at Delphi. So like you get everything in between. So it
Right, you're
made it
right. This could be like a
like a knockoff because like you are learned because you're writing. So like automatically semi-professional, I'll say that. Like
I still stand on business that this is not done by a professional because even it's done by like a scammer that's just like, yeah, I can see into your future. You know, like we all know who we're talking about when we say these things. Like the in modern day, you have people that say your ex is coming back on every TikTok video. Please leave me alone. No, he's not.
yeah. Yeah, so it's somebody who like maybe like a scammer who like only knows like the top level of something
A
and
hundred per
passing
yes.
it off. So like
Yes.
they're coming off as a professional, so like it's underneath professional, but like you are learned, so you are higher in society. So I don't know how to rank that. Not professional.
To our standards, I guess I would say
Yeah.
it's unprofessional and like I love this because like we're not so different than the ancient peoples. Love magic, even in modern day, is the one where people hire professionals for
Hmm.
all the time. And it's still happening in modern day. Like one of the most recent like workings I had done a few months ago was a love working that was placed upon somebody. And like it's always love magic. It's always love and attraction magic where people are like wanting to go for hire because people want love. People want
Yeah.
love.
And they will literally do whatever it takes.
100%. So like, yeah, I agree with you. Definitely like someone that is like I'm using professional in air quotes, but like on the lesser end of like really knowing what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Um, yeah, I'm saying like you're up because like you could read and write, but like you're down because you ain't the other two. Like
Yeah, those other two people, they probably were wearing like capes and literally probably were floating and levitating because they knew so much about that.
okay. Do you think it worked?
No. I like I said, there's a huge disconnect between the papyrus and the drink for me. And like, are you charging the drink on the papyrus? I don't know what's going on here.
Where is the drink? We know
What kind
papyrus
of
is here.
drink? Yeah.
Where is the drink? The drink is mythical. Where is it?
Right.
I don't think there's enough information here.
100%. And now I'm looking at this and I'm like, maybe this is just like notes. You know what I mean? Maybe they didn't write down the full working because I'm like,
It could.
where's the drink?
It's the drink.
What drink is she drinking? Is it apple juice? Like, what are we talking about
Is
here?
it beer? They have beer back then. Like,
No, I
what
know.
is
I'm
she
like,
drinking? If you can name her whole entire lineage of who
right.
birthed her and when, can you name the drink?
Yeah. So now I'm like, another scenario is like maybe they didn't write the full thing down because they just knew it in their head and like they didn't write the full working down because
Fair.
they were like, obviously it's wine. Like, why would I need to put that in here? But, based on the information we have, because I can sit here and theorize about this all day,
Yeah.
I don't think it worked. This is not enough for me. And
From the physical form of what we have, not enough information.
yeah, we have to look at it through that lens because I could be like, well, maybe.
Yeah, I'm saying like I also like to see an image of this specific papyrus
Yeah.
because are there and like can we tell that there's like extra ink like off to the side like these notes did exist at one time because then I think my
Yeah.
mind would change, but for right now I don't have said image. I don't have that.
We're just like roasting the hell out of this ancient person, and they're like one of the like maybe they were like one of the best sorcerers of all time in the ancient world. And we're like, because like some of the best sorcerers, like, they don't write everything down. Like, listen, let me tell you something. When I do magic, sometimes I'm like, yeah, that's in my head. I'm not writing it in my notebook. And like I
Why
always
you
think,
need
what
it?
if
You already know it.
right? And I'm like, what if someone found my grimoire and it's you guys should see like my
It's doodles.
it's just like doodles and gobbles and like no one can follow it with a good train of thought. So people thousands from years from now that find my stuff, I'm sorry in advance. I hope you find this podcast.
So like that's what I'm saying. Like there has to be more, but because one, there's no photograph
But maybe
attached,
there is no more. I don't know.
or maybe you had to go for like the
We're
consultation.
overthinking this.
That's true because maybe okay, maybe something just came in my head. You know when you go to the doctor and they write you a prescription
That's what I was thinking.
and it looks like a monkey wrote it in the dark. And
This is what I was
how
thinking.
how is a pharmacist going to know that I need amoxicillin?
Yeah, and
Um,
like those are the doctors that slap, the ones that write like
yeah, my old PCP, Dr. Foster. Shout out to you, Dr. Foster. I hope you're having fun living your best life in Athens. But like that man was a scribble. How is the CVS supposed to know that I need Augmentin?
I
So
don't
maybe
know.
this person was just so good that they only needed to like write this prescription of like
Yeah.
write on scrap of paper drizzle all over a drink. Like maybe this was like the receipt of a consultation.
Or we're just overthinking it and it's a
I
shit.
don't know. Or this person was just a scammer. I'm really trying to give them the benefit of the doubt.
No, I'm not. This was shit. So like anyway, the rating on this one. What do you,
One.
yeah.
One heart.
I'm placing in my rating at 1 heart as well because we have to go on what we have. And unfortunately, I don't know you. I don't know who the author of this working was. We have no author's biography of what kind of work you've done, no reviews. So I have to give you 1 star because I would not want this one out of the two we already previously talked about. I'm going with that Aphrodite one. Like that was, let me tell you something. In the ancient world, that is the professional I'm going to. The hymn of compulsion in there, they know
Him
what
a
they're doing.
compulsion. And you know, if that doesn't work, then I'm bringing in the war god from Egypt. And then I'm going to the Abrahamic god. You know why? Did we all miss Noah's Ark? That man don't mess around. I'm going to him.
Listen, but this is I want to do more of these episodes and maybe we'll take another theme in the next season and you guys let us know in the comments below like if you like really enjoyed the ancient breakdowns of workings. It's a nice little break from like talking about ancient Greek religion and the gods. We're talking about them in a different way. But I love this because I can sit and talk about this all day long about like
And
how ancient
theorize.
magic is so intense. And like when I think of magic, that's what I think of. I think of the we need vultures brains. Let's go. We're doing a love spell. Like get in
Get your
losers. We're
shit.
getting vultures brains.
Get your protection amulet. Get all of the names of every single god that you know of who you need to ring up because we're not turning back. We need the secret names, we need
No.
name names, and vulture brains.
That this is the kind of magic that needs to be talked about more. It's like I'm tired of like the easy, oh, you just blow cinnamon on your door and you'll be a millionaire. No, no. You
Where's
know what
that
we need to
what's
do?
that based in?
You know what we need to do? We need to build a statue of Hermes out of beeswax, punch a hole in our wall, and put it in there. And then guess what? That's in the Greek Magical Papyri. I
Or
say
or another crazy love spell is you just secretly watching somebody and whispering the name of a love goddess 7 times in a row for 7 days. Like, also creepy.
just like literally creepy. I'm like, that's the kind of stuff we need to do. I was saying to Dr. K, I'm like, we need to make a mold of a Hermes statue out of beeswax and punch a hole in the wall of the temple and just put it there. Because the Greek magical fire said so.
Yeah.
Because well, he's the god of merchants, so it's like You know, shout out him. I have his candle lit today. Maybe that's why I'm talking about him. He's in
Yeah,
here a lot too.
he is. He also has a few attraction spells, so it's very interesting.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have to do another one, like another theme. Of course, like love, like there's so many for love. And love is so fascinating because it's so multifaceted. In terms of like it's not like honeymoon phase and like puppy dog love and like little butterfly kisses. No, it's vulture brains and obsession and compulsion.
In like the good faith of ending the episode, I'm gonna do I call this like stupid divination. I'm just gonna open up a random page to a book and see.
So that's actually not like that's
I know,
actually
I know, I know. It's a real form of divination.
yeah.
I just don't like to do it because I'm like, no, no, I overthink it. But okay, what
All
do
right,
the
I'll
listeners
tell you when to stop.
what do the listeners and I and you need to know today?
Okay, go.
Okay, tell me when to stop.
Stop. Oh geez, I'm scared. What page are you on? What page are you on?
Oh no. I don't know what it is.
What page
I'm
are
on
you on?
288.
You're all the way
But
back.
my hand landed on the second one and it's a way for finding a thief. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
You bring a head of a drowned man. You carry it to the fields, you bury it. What kind of working is this? This is
Yeah, it's a thief.
if you want to discover a thief. You know what's so funny? Okay, this is why you guys can't make this stuff up. I have Hermes candle lit and he's the god of thieves too.
This is also protection because there is a very interesting, well, it's protection from thieves probably. Because the drawing that you have to draw is looks like the eye of Horus.
Oh my god, we need protection from thieves. Who's being a thief out there?
Who's being a thief?
You just got ratted out on the Sticks and Bones podcast. No, it's funny because, like I said, Hermes is a god of thieves as well. So I don't know. Maybe someone needs to hear that. Thieves. Maybe we need to hear that.
Watch out.
Yikes. Okay, I'm gonna close that. That's enough. That's risky divination, right? Because that's a crazy book.
That's like Mad Libs divination, man. Like,
Well, listen, I'll be honest
this
with
is
you
scary
guys, very
shit.
transparent. We've had thieves before. It's why we have to put things behind Patreon walls, especially the mystery boxes. So, like, the fact that that was one of the things that I came across, I was like, makes sense.
Makes sense. That's par for the course at Sticks and
Yeah,
Bones.
yeah. People always take our stuff and don't credit us. So it's like, y'all got routed out on the Six Moons podcast. Shout out Hermes, God of Thieves. Anyway,
Shout out the Egyptian gods. Yeah, it was Isis, Geb, Horus. It's like, how'd you all get in here?
the all-seeing eye. No, that was really funny. It also reminds me of like Evil Eyes too sometimes. Like when you said the Eye of Horus, I'm like, anyway. All right, that was fun. I think we'll definitely do this again where we do because I thoroughly like enjoyed this, like sitting down and being like, is this spell shit or like what's good?
Yeah, does it slap or not? Because I have some questions. Like, once again, are we writing on scrap paper? Where's the drink? And
What?
where does one find a vulture brain? And also, we forgot to talk about the fact that it was so specific on like the tooth of the upper side of the right jaw. Like, which one?
I wonder if that's like
Is there
in
a difference?
anatomy, if that's like connected to anything. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm really bad with anatomy, so like,
I took zoo archaeology and I'm like, it's just part of like the upper mandible. So, like,
I don't know. Maybe symbolically it means something like the right side.
I mean, the right side was seen as like the good, like good side. Like, the left was always like not good.
Yeah, so like maybe that was it. You need like the good stuff on the right side of the body.
But like, what tooth? Like, not like a, did that be a molar? Like, there's a lot, especially in animal jaws.
Yeah, I don't know, but those spells were really crazy, and I hope you guys let us know what you thought of this below. And yeah, I think
But on that note, we have to go catch a thief. And we will be back next time to talk about magic. Who can do it? What is magic? We're going to be talking about all of these crazy terms that are out and about, going everywhere, asking some questions to each other, answering the hard hitting questions. And yeah, I'm super excited about this magic episode. Who could do it? Why? How? All of that kind of stuff. I think that one's going to be a big one.
Oh my God. I'll be honest with you.
I need a
I,
whiteboard.
I'm so scared to record that one. Not because like I'm not excited to talk about it, but I'm just like I don't even know where to start because
Yeah,
on like the video that I posted recently on my podcast about Mother Mary and magic, I had also talked about like magic is different than witchcraft and
correct.
spells are like something that belong in
Correct.
both. And like I was like, you know what, Chelsea, do not like go. I was about to go on a tangent on like
Yeah.
talking about because it's necessary when you're talking about these things that
You have
people
to.
understand the I always say understand the terms you're using. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, I just gotta save this for Sticks and Bones because then
Yeah.
I could just defer people. You know what? You want to know what I'm talking about? Go to that episode. That's why I do this podcast, honestly.
No, it's such an important conversation and it's going to be more of like an anthropological approach because we need to look at things for what they are. Of course, we're going to be sticking to like, ancient history and facts and like looking at like the evidence that is left in the ground and the ancient writings and stuff. But like we gotta tackle this. Like 2024 has been a crazy year of us just researching and everything and we gotta set the story straight with everything.
We have to talk about it because it's important. And it's important to understand what we're talking about sometimes too. Like
Yeah, because there's a lot going on. So with
there
that
is.
being said, don't forget to check out Sticks and Bones Temple, Sticks and Bones Patreon for all of the extra goodies this month. We will be dropping more sneak peeks over on Patreon for the holiday boxes. Especially for you guys up in the Elysian tier, you guys will be getting some like early photos and all of that good stuff. Don't forget to join book club this month where we are tackling the first half of Ithaca. And if you want a good jump scare, a good plot twist, if you've been searching for that book high, check out Medusa Sisters, which is up now already. Check out what's new in the temple. Don't forget to check out Sticks and Bones, Ghost Whisperer Apothecary, Chelsea's new book. She's an author, she's a writer, she does it all because what time do we have left over? And don't forget to check out Dirt Diaries
Period.
and come travel with me and some Dirt Diaries fans and Sticks and Bones fans to China and Egypt. We will catch you guys next time for the big magic extraordinaire episode. Bye.
Bye.